Blood libel. Isabella of France, the youngest surviving child and only surviving daughter of Philip IV Libel, married Edward II of England, 1284–1327, the son of Edward I of England, 1239–1307. Edward's father Henry III of England, 1207–1272, was the son of the King John of England, 1166–1216, the son of Eleanor of Aquitaine and Henry II of England. Edward's mother was Eleanor of Provence, the second daughter of Ramon Berenguer IV, Count of Provence, 1198–1245, who was raised by the Templars with his cousin James I of Aragon. Ramon's father was Alfonso II, Count of Provence, 1180–1209, the second son of Alfonso II of Aragon and Sancha of Castile, the only surviving child of Alfonso VII of Castile by his second wife, Richiza of Poland. Alfonso II's sister Constance was married to Frederick II, Holy Roman Emperor. Alfonso II's other sister Eleanor married the Cathar supporter Count Raymond VI of Toulouse, after he had been married to Joan Plantagenet, the sister of Richard Lionheart, had first been married to William II of Sicily. Henry III of England would become involved in the next famous blood libel case, that of Little Saint Hugh of Lincoln, 1246–1255. In frequent cases of blood libel, Jews were said to hunt for children to murder before Passover so they could use their blood to make matzah. 27 Thomas of Monmouth's account of the accusation against Jews of the ritual murder of William of Norwich helped inflame anti-Semitic sentiment in England, resulting in the eventual expulsion of the Jews from England in 1290. Recalling the prophecy reported to Thomas of Monmouth by a converted Jew, the Dominican Thomas of Cantimpré recorded in his Bonum Universale de Pibus, on bees, a work he began in the 1250s and expanded until 1263. Moreover, I have heard that a very learned Jew who converted to the faith in our days said that there was a certain one, like a prophet of theirs, who prophesied at the end of his life to the Jews, saying, "Most assuredly," he said, "know you that you cannot be healed in any way from that shameful torment with which you are punished, except by Christian blood alone." 28. Similar accusations were occurring in France and Germany. The Chronicle of Rigord, d. 1207, 1209, the biographer of Philip Augustus, claims that Richard of Pontoise, c. 1179–1181, was killed by Parisian Jews in an annual ritual that took place during Holy Week to show contempt for the Christian religion. Richard of Pontoise was supposed to have been crucified by Jews on Good Friday in 1163, which coincided with the second day of Passover. William the Breton expanded Rigord's narrative to indicate not merely that Jews had killed Richard of Pontoise as if for a sacrifice, but indeed that as a youth King Philip II had heard from his contemporaries and playmates that every year Jews sacrificed a Christian child and shared or took communion with its heart. 29 In a letter from perhaps before 1263, Jacob ben Eli asserts that a Jewish convert named Nicholas Donin, the source of the 35 articles against the Talmud presented to Pope Gregory IX around 1238–1239, attempted unsuccessfully to persuade the king, perhaps Emperor Frederick II, that on Passover Jews slaughter young boys, cook the children, and eat their flesh and drink their blood. 30 In the 1190s, Peter of Blois remarked that Jews abduct Christian children and crucify them in secret places. 31. The 2-year-old Mila in Valrias was ritually murdered in 1247, in southeastern France. 3 Jews, named Bendig, Vercellaz, and Durand, were arrested for her murder, for having gathered her blood in a glass vessel, and for intending to crucify her on Good Friday as an insult to Jesus. They confessed to have believed to have had to crucify her on account of the prophet called Jesus, on whose account the Jews are in captivity. Bendig admitted that it is a custom among Jews, and especially wherever there is a large population of Jews, to perform this deed annually, especially in the regions of Spain, because there is a very large population of Jews there, and when they cannot obtain a Christian victim, they purchase a Saracen instead. 32. In 1187, the Jews of Mainz in Germany were made to swear to the Bishop of Mainz that they did not kill Christians at Easter. 33 In 1235, after the dead bodies of 5 boys were found on Christmas in Fulda, the inhabitants of the town accused the Jews of having killed them to consume their blood, and burned 34 of them to death with the help of crusaders who were assembled there. However, the Marbach Chronicle reports that in response to this accusation, Emperor Frederick II convened a council of scholars, which finally concluded that, in light of the prohibition against such acts in the Bible and the Talmud, by this sentence of the princes, we pronounce the Jews of the aforesaid place and the rest of the Jews of Germany completely absolved of this imputed crime. 34. In England, Harold of Gloucester was said to have been abducted and then murdered by Jews in 1168, about 10 days before Passover, while Robert of Bury is said to have been murdered by Jews on Good Friday 1181. Richard of Devizes, a monk at St. Swithin's in Winchester, alleges that the Jews of Winchester ritually crucified and ate a Christian boy in 1192 about the time of the Passover. Roger of Wendover alleges similarly that 7 Jews in Norwich abducted and circumcised a Christian boy in 1235, intending to crucify him at Easter. 35 The Lincoln case, which become well known, is mentioned by Chaucer and English Benedictine monk and chronicler Matthew Paris, c. 1200–1259. Paris described the murder, implicating all the Jews in England. This year 1255 about the feast of the Apostles Peter and Paul July 27, the Jews of Lincoln stole a boy called Hugh, who was about 8 years old. After shutting him up in a secret chamber, where they fed him on milk and other childish food, they sent to almost all the cities of England in which there were Jews, and summoned some of their sect from each city to be present at a sacrifice to take place at Lincoln, in contumely and insult of Jesus Christ. They scourged him till the blood flowed, they crowned him with thorns, mocked him, and spat upon him, each of them also pierced him with a knife, and they made him drink gall, and scoffed at him with blasphemous insults, and kept gnashing their teeth and calling him Jesus, the false prophet. And after tormenting him in diverse ways they crucified him, and pierced him to the heart with a spear. When the boy was dead, they took the body down from the cross, and for some reason disemboweled it, it is said for the purpose of their magic arts. 36. The death of little Saint Hugh of Lincoln is significant because it was the first time that the Crown gave credence to ritual child murder allegations, through the direct intervention of Henry III. 37. Henry commanded a royal investigation. A Jew named Copin confessed to the murder, in return for a promise of immunity from sentencing. 38. Henry III ordered Copin to be executed, and for 90 Jews to be arrested in connection with the boy's death and held in the Tower of London, where 18 of them were executed. The rest were pardoned at the intercession of the Franciscans or Dominicans. 39. After news spread of his death, miracles were attributed to Hugh, and ballads referring to the incident circulated in England, Scotland, and France. 40.